Tijan was an athlete that is very special. This is why when I think about Tijan today, I would, because I'm a strong man, I will not weep, but I would have wept for Tijan, because I know that this is a talent that this country has watched and never did anything about until he had to take his own initiative to leave this country for another. And I'm definitely touched by that. And Tijan is not the only case, because I work with athletes. As I speak with you right now, there is an athlete who is staying with me that I took over from the provinces for some 5, 6, 7 years now. He's with me, I'm taking care of him. We tried everything. In fact, there was a time I liaised with Tijan, we wanted to take him to France, but it was impossible. We tried the US, it was impossible. And look, we tried we contacted everybody in this country who is related to sports to help him grow, because he was a talent. But it never worked out until he eventually is now in Spain. Sorry, in Qatar. He's currently in Qatar. Right now he's on holidays. He's at my home in Lamen, my father's home in Lamen. And he will soon have to go back to Qatar. And there are so many other talents that this country had lost, because, you know, look at this launching today. Who are here? If Tijan turns out to be gold tomorrow, as he's saying now, everybody will start running around Tijan. I would never have access to Tijan. As I'm speaking to you right now, I don't have access to Gina Bass. I don't see Gina Bass since the time he left the school. And I remember there was a time we identified the 4 of them. It was Gina Bass, one Sinabu Jara from Gunjur, Tijan Keita, and one Bakari Haidara. These were our best athletes at St. Augustine's at the time. And we were preparing them to be able to represent the Gambia for the subsequent Olympics. But we tried to get scholarships for them, but it was only Gina that could make the cut and was accepted at the High Performance Center in Dakar. Only Gina Bass. And that was why Gina Bass was able to make it to the subsequent Olympics. From school, Gina ran in the next Olympic by her own qualifications. She qualified with a qualifying time. I can say she was the first Gambian to do that, having been in Gambian athletics for a long time. I know that Gambia had always benefited from the wild card. That is when you don't have qualified athletes from any country. Olympics, so that the Olympic Committee allows you to present 2 athletes from your country, 1 male, 1 female. Whether they make the mark or not, they can go and participate in the Olympics through the preliminary rounds. But Gina, as far as I know, was the first athlete to qualify. Athlete, track and field, to qualify by meeting the time and qualifying in the 100 meters and in the 200 meters for this country. And that was why Gina was able to run or take part in the Olympics and qualify to the 200 meters finals. Qualifying in the 200 meters finals in the Olympics means that you are among the 8 fastest athletes in the world. That was what happened to Gina. And when she took part in that race, I remember she came out 6th. No other athlete had done that. Gambian athlete registered by the Gambian Federation, Athletics Federation, have ever done that. The only Gambian athlete who had ever done that, or something better than that, was J. Sumasidin Dur. But then he did not run for Gambia, he ran for Norway. He did that in a Norway ticket. J. Sumasidin Dur is the most successful Gambian athletes in Olympic history. And J. Suma is our own student from St. Augustine's High School.
Very true. Very true.
J. Sumasidin Dur came out 4th in the 200 meters. He nearly got a bronze medal in that finals. But that is the best result that Gambia has ever produced in athletics.
Tijan is faster than him. No,
so the person we are celebrating here today is somebody that I wish you were able to be at the stadium at the time and see this boy run, this young man run. Now he's a young man. And I call him Mr. now, but then I used to call him boy. But it was a pleasure to see him run along those tracks, or on those tracks. What I want to say here is, we have Tijan. And there are so many other Gambian athletes who have fallen by the wayside because nobody was there to look after them. Tijan came all the way by himself. Why his country? The next minute, they will ask you to represent your country with pride and with everything. But why his country in bringing this athlete up? Why his country? Why his country when Tijan has decided to launch his book today? Why his country? It's Tijan, his family, his friends that are around. Gambia must stop behaving like this. Athletes are prepared. Go next door to our neighboring countries. Whenever they see an athlete with a talent, they pick him up as quickly as possible and send him overseas for preparation. The talent we have in this country is not in Senegal, even though we are, I can say Gambia is less than 1/10 of the size of Senegal. But the athletes we have in this country are not in Senegal, I can tell you for free. But what are we doing about our athletes? And it's not just in athletics, it's in football. I am very lucky to have had a stint in athletics as well as in football. I have served as Assistant General Secretary of the Gambia Athletics Association for some years, and I know what is there. I have also served as third Vice President of the Gambia Football Federation for 5 years, and I know what I am talking about. It is unfortunate that Gambia likes to reap where they did not sow. We want to reap where we did not sow. And I think this country should start moving away from that. All these talents need support. At least they are developed. They don't just come about.
You can do it.
So, I just want to say, thank you for Tijan for taking this brave step. At least you have the courage to put down on paper your story. Maybe there'll be a young Gambian child who will pick up this book, read it, and become a better Tijan someday. I'm not aware of any other athlete that had done what Tijan is doing now. I don't know, maybe because I don't know everything about athletics in this country. But I've been there for a long time to know. I have seen the Athletics Association operate for many years. I have served in the Gambia Secondary School sports for many, many years. If some of you remember the days of Maricon, the days of
Such,
Fahari Jame and others. Fahari Jame was my student at Latrikunda Public School. I was the first person who encouraged Fahari Jame to beat the then superstar Ahmad Chala.
yeah.
And since that day, Chala was no more. Fahari went on from LK to Muslim high school and helped Muslim high school to win their first and ever inter-school championships with Lamin Maricon and others. So I've been in this field for a very long time. I know the athletes that came up from this country. But to tell you the truth, Tijan is one of the very best. Tijan is one of the very best. He was respected not only by students in his school, but by students in other schools. Even his opponents respected him. I remember in Parafenya when he picked up the baton for the 4x4 relay as he did in Abuko, Gambia High School Athlete, the Gambia High School Athlete was leading, but when the chant came up, Tijan Mungenyo, Tengen there, the guy was so frightened that he ended up dropping his baton. And Tijan came and ran past him. I remember how vexed the PE teacher of the school was with this boy. Because of that chant, Tijan Mungenyo, Tengen there, that was a very powerful chant. Because of the way they respected Tijan, they know that Tijan would do anything. Tijan was there to do the impossible, and he had done the impossible. Today I am here to say thank you to Tijan because I never had the chance to do so, but I want to say thank you to you for bringing so many laurels to my school. Yeah, I was a principal, but I couldn't bring any of those laurels. But he has brought them and others. And it is because of that that I have to come here today and say something on his behalf. I thank you and I thank your family. Uncle, I know you are his uncle. Thank you so much. Huh? I'm talking to you.
I know.
Thank you so much for Tijan.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hope someday you will all be proud of him. Prouder. Because he has already made us proud. Thank you so much, Tijan. Thank you so much.
How's it pronounced? Sabi and Ganyaga, my specialist.
You are right, Dwayne. It's a
He is, as far as Gambian sports is concerned.
Yes.
I could have only said athletics, but I know he was in football and many other things. But he's more recognized in athletics. But I would always say sports because he has done a lot. So thank you very much, Mr. Gomez, for doing this, to bring in the likes of Tijan and many others, and like you said about Gina and you name it. Thank you so much. We're so happy and glad that you made it here. Another important point, Gambians will reap what they do not sow. When Tijan told me about the book launching and wanted me to do this, and I told him, Tijan, for far too long people have not seen me. And a lot of people would think I no longer live in the country. People like Gaya would say, I'm to wonder. Lankasara. Just keeping it low. But when he called, I said, this is something I cannot reject. Because I wasn't there when it started, but at least I saw one or two of your struggles. And I was one of the people who would comfortably come to and tell me the stories. I couldn't do anything at the time, but at least I knew people that could help Tijan, so I take him to those people. So when you have something like this, and I'm in this country, and I have a very special guest, my husband is in town. So when I told him he's here, he was like, no, then I'm sorry, I know you can't. I said, Tijan, as far as I'm here. And he also gave me the support that we'll support Tijan, then we'll be here, because this is what you deserve, Tijan. Demba, the family to interrupt you. I was there with you at the Independence Stadium. Well, almost your tears would come down to your chest because you love athletics. You feel good. You feel proud representing this country, raising the red, white, blue, white, green. But people couldn't feel you. They couldn't see what you wanted to do for the country. It was just few people that saw it. And I'm glad that you made it this far and you're going to make it to where we may not even expect it. So don't worry. To everybody present here, it's not time to give the word of thanks, but we appreciate everyone. This is why at the introduction I said there is no high table or whatever. Everybody present is in this hall is so important to Tijan as far as this launching is concerned. It means you respect and value Tijan when he invited. We are Gambians, we are not into book reading. He could have said, I'm launching a book, and some of you would be like, book, but you all left what you're doing on a Saturday evening when people are so engaged to be here. So I'm glad that you are part of the showing, so that when we're reaping tomorrow, you all be part of it, inshallah. Next, I will call on Sabi. He's always there to support. Yeah, to tap our backs to say, keep it up. You would even be wrong sometimes, you say keep it up. You will get there. Just make sure you rectify X, Y, and Z. But I'm not surprised when I saw him working. Thank you, Sabi. He's here to do the book review.
Please mind my camera, please.
No, it's all yes.
And recite the national anthem. We are not singing it, we are reciting it for a champion in Tijan Keita. Let's rise and recite the national anthem. I want to hear the words. And if you recite it well, it means we represent a teacher, because he had the national anthem sung in all the championship. He represented the country and brought us honor. For the Gambia, our homeland, we strive and work and pray that all may live in unity, freedom, and peace each day. That justice guide our actions towards the common good, and join our diverse people to prove man's brotherhood. We pledge our firm allegiance, our promise we renew. Keep us, great God of nations, to the Gambia ever true. Thank you very much. Now, Martin inspired many, including this humble man standing in front of you. You wouldn't know that story, but we spoke about it apparently outside. He's my uncle, but he actually discovered me when I was in Briam. He was at St. Edward's teaching, and I was at Fatima. And when he came to St. Teresa's and had finished my O levels in '96, I had nowhere to go, a guardian. He opted to bring me over and sleep on the same bed with him. Once I went to St. Augustine's as a student, he was a teacher at St. Teresa's, sleeping on the same bed. Now when I heard him talk about Tijan's story, as well as the other athletes he taught at MK, I thought about many other athletes I knew that passed through him. He was a maths teacher, but very much committed in sports and education. His passion for sports did not come over time. It was way back when he was a student at Armitage High School in the 70s and 80s. So passion drives one's performance as well as their purpose. And that's what we've seen in Tijan. And you cannot pass through Martin without that. Sports and education is key and core in one's growth and development. And I'm glad that Tijan has published a book. Others did, but to me it's a first for an athlete who is still bent on joining or representing the country in the Olympics to publish a book, to tell his story so far. And the story is to inspire young ones in sports and also to take up education for skills. From dust to gold started from home. If you've read this book, you would know it started from home. And when I was actually going through this, it took me back to my days as a village boy, where you have to run to go to the shop to buy tomato loho or some other things and run back because they're just waiting for you to make sure that they continue the cooking. And he did that. And Tijan, thank you very much, honestly, for bringing that out clearly here. The book, the cover, has shown you passion in the way Tijan was actually running. Look at the cover of the book, you can depict a lot out of it. Passion. Without passion, forget about profession. Without passion, forget about performance. Without passion, forget about the person. It must be seen in you. And it was evident in Tijan. He started in Bakwete in 2007, as per what I've read here. And within 10 years, he struggled on his own to find himself in Spain in 2017. But in between, St. Augustine's more or less transformed him to another level. And it's all indicated here. And he mentioned the coaches who did that. And of course, his own colleagues. The performance was not his, because he also participated in team sports in the relay. And he couldn't have won it without the contribution of the other athletes. And he was honestly generous in identifying that here. But one of the things that struck me among those was one former athlete who, when the coach, Modunjai, I know very well, was not around, he would leave Tijan and others with. And that's Ismaila Manga. So you can see how mentorship came into play in this. One could be good, but must have a mentor. Without Martin, many people might not have known me because I would have just taught at Fatima and maybe become something that's different from what I am today. So it is good to be there for others. Now, the book is 156 pages. You can read this before going to bed tonight. Because out of that, 28 pages are pictures, and the pictures tell a lot of story. I've looked at some of the pictures and I smiled. Yes, Tijan's generation did not meet me in active sport reporting. When I talk about this, those who know me in sports will tell you, I was very active in sports reporting, but when some of them came to the limelight, like my brother from another mother, we call each other Mark to Paul, some of us thought it was time for us to give them away. But once in a while, we will go to the stadium to watch, especially inter-schools. And you see the athlete, and sometimes you try to compare what you are seeing with the ones you knew before. But mind you, generations change. And every generation will always have their own bullet or bolt, among others. A long story short, he talked about also the Gambia police force coming to his aid by employing him and allowing him to enhance his sporting career and giving him opportunities. From the Gambia to Dakar, to Nigeria, to Mauritius, globally he has been there, representing the red, white, blue, white, green of this country. So he was an ambassador. That's why I say we should sing the national anthem, because you only hear it in two occasions. When somebody wins gold, you'll hear the national anthem of that country, a champion. Or when a president or his envoy or his ambassador or his emissary is in another country. Other than that, tell me where else you hear the national anthem. So that shows you that sports can propel this nation to the highest level. And I keep saying this, our focus is on football, granted, but our focus should be on athletes. When I talk about athletes, including footballers, they are athletes. Reward athletes based on merit, not ascription. Don't look at Vicente, he's in football, you give him 10,000. You look at Tijan, he's in athletics, you give him 1,000. You look at Haji, he's in basketball, you give him 500. We should stop that. There should be a policy in place to award and reward merit. Gold, the tax should be there. The amount noted. Any athlete who brings gold, that's how much you get, regardless of which discipline. Silver, that's the tag. That's the price. You bring it, that's how much you get. Bronze, and so on. Once we reward athletes that way, we will see performance enhanced based on their passion. If we don't, if Tijan can play football and is a very good track and field athlete, he will quit it and concentrate on football. We've seen that in many athletes who left actually athletics for football. I don't need to name names, but some of the journalists here present know, we know them. Because they've not seen any future in athletics. Because they've not seen any future in volleyball. Because they've not seen any future in basketball, among other sporting disciplines. So it is us, the policymakers, who should change that. And that's why when Martin stood here and said, people wait for glory to be seen to be associated with it. But when the person is actually there struggling, nobody is there for them, save for the individual, their family, friend, or loved one. That must change, and that's what Tijan has actually couched in this book. So I urge you all to buy the book, to help him raise enough to pay for the printing. Just sitting down and writing what he wrote alone has taken his time, energy, and resources. Leaving this in the bookshelves and thanking him for publication is not going to give him anything. It's for you and I to read and also ensure that we learn from it, and if we are policymakers, we change our policies to reward merit and hard work. That is the message I've gathered here. Regardless of where you are, if you're a policymaker, let the policy reward merit and hard work. Athletes must be rewarded accordingly, based on merit. And we know that some of us, what we give to other athletes is not fair, it's not balanced, it's not even. And the time, energy, and resources they spend in these things may be more than what they get. So if you're a policymaker and you're here seated, that's my message to you. Reward athletes based on merit and get a policy in place to reward them, not based on your whims or caprices. Madam, take note of that, take it to your ministry, take it to government, and let's have it as a policy, that athletes are rewarded based on merit. That's number one. Number two, Tijan's passion is sports. And sports appeals to health and wealth. Health, because if you engage in sports, it's a physical activity. It's preventative health. It helps in keeping you healthy, thus reducing the pressure on our health budget. And a healthy nation becomes a wealthy nation. So sports should not be seen as for or blue or fair or blonde. It's a profession, and it cuts across all sectors of this country. So let's make sure that we give our children the opportunity to participate in any sports of their liking and support them, just like we support them to go to nursery school. Give them even sometimes private teachers at nursery school. Am I not right? Give your child a private coach, if that's their area. Before you know it, you get millions out of it. I hate to mention other athletes I knew here, but Martin is a witness. Most of them were scholar athletes. But because we do not encourage scholar athletics, some of them decided to abandon their academics part and focus on sports. When he speaks, you know that he has substance. I'm referring to Tijan. And you want to be surprised. Why? Because you don't expect him to be intelligent? Who says athletes are not intelligent? So that is something we need to change. Our mindset and our attitude towards athletes must change. And that's what Tijan is advocating for. His preference for athletics should not be seen as a death warrant. We should not do that. And that's what we did to him. Because this was a shining star in grade 10, when he was less than 16 years or thereabout. Ready for the world. And what happened? No support, no funding, no attention. When he picked up injuries, he was left on his own. And sports injuries are very key and core in athletes' performance.
President, I provided support for him.
Thank you very much. I know you've always been there for him.
I provided support for all of them.
You've always been there. When I say no support, I know you did.
It's in St. Augustine's and St. Joseph's.
I'm very much aware of it now. In this case, we're talking about where the support should come from. It should come from the country. We represent this country, and if government officials are ill or sick, they are treated from our own consolidated funds. And they're taken abroad, am I not right? If he's representing the country and picks up an injury, the same should be given to him. That's what we are saying. An athlete that suffers in the service of the nation should be taken care of by the nation. That's what I'm talking about. Because that's a profession. People should not honestly be left on their own in representing their country, all because what we needed from them, we got it, and then we forgot about them. That should stop. That's the message the teacher is trying to bring to the fore and urge people to take care of the upcoming athletes, not him. Where he is, he struggles alone. He can handle them. That doesn't mean he doesn't need support. Let's give people an opportunity to compete openly. And at the end of the day, whoever actually tops is considered. They don't close the gap because you think Tijan era is gone. Who says this era is gone? Try him, let him prove himself. Right or wrong? Then you can decide. So that's what we're saying. The level playing field must definitely be there for all athletes. So I just want to urge all of us to buy copies for ourselves. And Tijan, again, just like other athletes before him, especially those who passed through St. Augustine's, have gone to really show that at books or play, we win our way. Our motto, recta sapere. I'm sorry if you've not attended St. Augustine's. You will not align and identify with this. But that is St. Augustine's for you. To our God, we give all glory. To our country, honor true. To our high school, St. Augustine's, we pledge our honor to you. That's the school song, and it's similar to the national song. I've asked us to sing the national anthem, to recite it because I want us to think about the words. They should not just be from our lips, they should be taken from our hearts. So Tijan, thank you very much for this publication. I just want to honestly commend you that you passed through the stage, of the dusts of Bakote, Banjul, among other places. And we hope and pray that now that the dust is settled, the goal is very clear. And with support, and because he's passionate, he is driven, and he still believes in himself, give him a chance, and all other athletes we are celebrating today will have a lot to learn from him. Because with his spirit, he's not scared of even the best athlete in this country. I've met him not once but twice. Even when he gave me the book to review, he said, the goal is yet to come. And that is somebody with purpose and passion. The goal is yet to come. He has a goal, and the goal is the gold. So let's support him to get the gold. Without it, it's not yet over for him. And that could be his greatest regret, without your support. Without the support of government, without the support of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, without the support of the Athletics Association. So let's give people a chance who believe in themselves to prove themselves wrong. So I challenge all of us, and those who are not here who are watching us, give Tijan a chance. If there's any trials for any championship anywhere, let him know. Let him come to the track, and the rest, as they say, will be history. Thank you very much.
We in Comium are indeed very, very proud to be associated with this event. We are a player in the economy, we are a player in our sector, as well as every single sector we think would really lead the way for more and more success and development in the country, and sport is not left behind. Comium has always and will continue to support where necessary. Some of us here could attest to that in one way or the other, to be either partnered or supported to make certain event successful and pursued as objective by those who organize them. Apart from that, just to use the opportunity, Tijan is somewhere today, not because of him, because he has a family. I just want to take the opportunity to say a big thank you to Mom and the entire family for really giving that support behind all odds and the struggle to make sure he is here in this today. Another common thing that I just wanted to highlight, all of us sitting on the table today, we have one thing in common. And who can say that?
Well, I can, but not for me, right?
Yes.
We all attended
St. Augustine's High School. Yeah. So you see the success. I know Vicente for sure, being my head boy in 1998, contributed a lot in the sport, not only of the school, but the entire senior secondary school sports development and continuity. Of course, since deserved for Vicente definitely to be somewhere today when it's come to the sporting arena. And we think he is still on it, continues to be on it, and making everybody else pushing the road to be a healthy person. He's one person I follow to see how he is pushing on sports, on athletic, everything you think about making somebody healthy. He is a very passionate person. I remember in this very 1998, during the athletic sport competition at the stadium, some other schools were crowned champion, almost, because of a mistake. It was because of him that the crown has to come back to St. Augustine, because there was a wrong data taken.
Sergio, you got it right.
So, thank you, Vicente, for that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And then, Tijan. It has been a very rough ride, as the book says, from dust to gold. And as Vicente highlighted, the goal is yet to come. And I think that's the push. If the goal had come, that would have been the end of it. But the goal is yet to come, despite the achievement, despite the medals. So let's give Tijan the support. It's about us, it's not about Tijan alone. He could have just spent his entire time in Spain, and he would have got all what he wanted, and still nothing can come out of it. But he decided to come back, and that's why Comium decided to give a hand to make sure this become a very successful event for people to learn from it, for people to see and give the more support that is desired, that would make Tijan to really get to that goal. And I think, and I wish we all put our hands together, not only for buying the book, for not only buying this book, that is just one thing. We need to give the support. And this support does not only go to Tijan, but we have to support our country. It's not them, it's us. So let's put forward this, that we want to see Tijan get to where he wants to be, particularly in his pursuit for the 2028 Olympics Games, right? I also want to take the opportunity for being a partner. Of course, for the country hosting Tijan to really realize where he is today, that is Spain. You spoke about, the principal spoke about Jesuma Seidi. Why did he forgo? Why did he drop Gambia for Norway? I don't think he decided not to support his own country, no. But because the support he needed to make it happen wasn't available. So we have to face the fact. It's not that you hate your country, you hate the people here, because you need something to be somewhere. So we have to always give back in recognizing those countries that in one way or the other have supported our own. And Spain is part of it, the Norway is part of it, and other countries. So let us work as a country to support ours, whether it is sports, agriculture, health, wherever area or aspect you think you can do the contribution, it is our country and nobody's else. On that note, on behalf of Comium's entire management, I really want to wish Tijan a very, very successful journey and in pursuit of his participation in the 2028 Olympic Games. Thank you very much.
At chapter 7 in the book Dust to Gold. Hope and sacrifice. There was a price they never saw. I never chased fame. I chased the meaning. Every sprint, every sacrifice, every finish line I crossed wasn't just for me. It was for something bigger. It was for the barefoot boy in Barkota running on hot sand, with dreams too loud for his village to understand. It was for every child whose talent was hidden behind poverty. It was for Gambia. It was for the headlines. They saw the medals. They saw the flag rise on foreign soil. But they didn't see the bad days missed. The phone calls with family I couldn't answer because I was too far or too broken inside. They didn't see the nights alone in quiet hotel rooms in cold cities. No family, no friend. No one to share the silence with. They didn't see me hungry, literally hungry. Training on an empty stomach because there was no food that day. Or me messaging my coach late at night. Coach, do you have anything you can help me with transport fare tomorrow? While others were out dancing. I was in bed by 9 p.m. because the next morning held punishment if I wasn't ready. While my friends shared photos in suits and parties. I posted nothing because what do you post when you are at war with your own limits? This was not the glamorous side of sport. This was suffering side. The sacrificial side, the part no one claps for. But I accepted it. I welcomed it. The part no one, because sacrifice became my currency. Hope was my only fuel some days. The pain was unbearable. The loneliness was defining. But I still trained, still showed up, because I held on to one thing, hope. I hope that my story will open doors for others. Hope that my pain will break the silence around Gambian athletes. I hope that my success will force people to care even if they didn't yet. I hope that one day a child in Gunjur or Basse or Farafenye would hear my name and say, if he did it with nothing, then I can too. I hope that my presence at World Championship will make Gambia impossible to ignore. I hope that someone, a government, a federation, a sponsor will finally say, this is worth investing in. Legacy is bigger than time. I realized something powerful. Sometimes your greatest achievement isn't what you win, it's who you inspire. And I did inspire, slowly, quietly. Gambia started to whisper my name in schools, in neighborhoods. Young athletes began to train harder. Coaches began timing with more intention, PE teachers told students, run like him. Even without a system, a movement was forming. But it didn't come without a cost. I was the first Gambian in history to break a contentious record. And being first means carrying the weight of everyone who comes after you. You don't get to quit. You don't get to break down. You build the road so that others can run it. Even when money was tight, even when results didn't come, even when my body begged me to stop, I kept going. Not because it was easy, but because I couldn't afford to let hope die. Not just mine, everyone else's. What I still dream of. I still dream of the day Gambia builds proper tracks, real tracks, not dusty fields or cracked concrete, not improvised lanes drawn in the sand, but tartan that carries the footsteps of champions. I dream of the day when a young boy or girl can step out of their home and find world-class facilities waiting for them. Facilities that believe in their potential before anyone else does. I dream of a day when kids don't have to cross into Senegal just to run on a proper surface, when chasing your dream doesn't mean leaving your country behind. A day when the border is no longer the line between struggle and opportunity. I dream of a day when athletes don't have to choose between feeding their families and representing their nation. When national pride comes with national support, when wearing the Gambian colors means you are carried, not abandoned. I dream of a day when talent isn't wasted because of silence, when gifted boys and girls aren't forced to retire before they begin, simply because no one listened. No one cared, no one provided. I dream of a system that believes in us before the victory. Not only after the headlines are written. Support before medals, investment before applause. And when all of this is said and done, when my specs are hung up, when the chairs fade, when the records I fought for are broken, I pray what remains is more than just a number in a book. I don't want to be remembered only for my personal best. I want to be remembered for the fight behind it. For the faith that carried me through hunger, fatigue, and doubt. For the sacrifice that turned dust into gold. Because I didn't just run for medals, I ran for change. To the boy with dust-covered feet, running barefoot on a rough field, don't stop. To the girl with tired legs and no track to call her own, keep going. Even when no one claps, even when no one helps, even when you feel invisible, remember your race matters. And one day, maybe years from now, when Gambia finally races its own championship on its own soil, I hope they will know they are not standing on smooth ground. They are standing on sweat, their tears, the faith, and the stubborn fight of those who came before. That is my dream. That is my legacy. Thank you.
They were wrong. They said after you win, the hunger softens. They believed the anthem would be enough, that once your name is printed in bold across newspapers and the cameras turned to you and interviews everywhere, the dream would be complete. They thought that the taste of glory would be enough to silence the grin. But for me, the applause was never the finish line. It was only the starter's gun. Every cheer was a reminder that the journey wasn't over. Every victory was only proof that the work was worth it. While the world saw a champion, I saw only the next mountain to climb. While they celebrated, I went back to the track, sweating, pushing, suffering, chasing something far bigger than myself. When the world clapped for me, it didn't bask in it. I clapped back with work, with mornings where the sun hadn't risen, with evenings where my body screamed but I kept going. The sound of my spikes on the track became louder than any applause. And when Gambia stayed quiet, when the ones I expected to cheer stayed silent, I didn't crumble. I turned that silence into fuel. Silence didn't break me, it sharpened me. It didn't make me carry the weight of every forgotten athlete, every silenced dreamer, every young talent who never got the chance I was fighting for. Because by then, the dream was no longer about proving myself. It was bigger, much bigger. It was about proving that an African child didn't need perfect facilities to dream. That talent born in dust could still shine on the biggest stage. It was about building a road where there was none. So no boy or girl after me would ever feel they had to give up because no one believed in them. I didn't just run for medals. I ran for the boy training barefoot on a road cracked by the sun. His stride just as strong as those racing in expensive shoes. I ran for the girl who sneaks out to train at dawn because her family tells her athletics is a waste of time. I ran for the countless young Africans who look at TV screens and wonder if greatness is something reserved for others born elsewhere, born into privilege. The fire didn't fade, it spread. With every finish line I crossed, I wasn't just collecting victories. I was laying stones, one by one, for a path that others could follow. I wasn't just running for myself. I was running to prove that Africa has always had champions, waiting only for belief, waiting only for opportunity. And the applause never slowed me down. It fueled me. Silence never discouraged me. It reminded me why I had to keep going. My dreams grew beyond me. My legs carried not only my own story, but stories of many. With every step wasn't just chasing records, I was carving a history. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Low. Jumayasin Low. Thank you. It was a good one. And like I said, Tijan's story is so inspirational, and so many people disappointed him along the way. There were people who stood by him because of Tijan's passion. That's the only reason in those days why you would want to leave your seat or be under the hot sun to work with Tijan to certain offices. Because that's what all you could see in his eyes. He loves athletics so much, and that's all he wants to do. And this is the proof. He went to Spain, he could have been there struggling and doing his thing, but he was on the side hustle while considering doing this. And because of that, whoever get to hear the story, you're like, yeah, I'm not surprised. And one of them is a surprise for him. He doesn't even know this one is online, because I did not even know that we were alive. And his high school coach now lives in the US. He kept calling throughout that he just want to say something.
Wow. Alhamdulillah, we are good. Your boy is here making us proud.
Actually, I'm right over here, but so emotional. I've just been following the program, and then I couldn't be happier today than say Tijan, one of the very talents that have been working with me over the past years. So I know Tijan as a very dedicated athlete, hardworking, respectful, trustworthy, someone who goes out there to always stand firm to make the differences. Over the past years, it has always been challenging for him. But he stood firm to make sure that he makes the differences. when everyone was saying he couldn't, he said I was going to be. And thank God that today we are celebrating his book from dusk to gold.
Thank you, Mr. Nye, for connecting. But you were his high school coach. Mr. Martin Gomez was here earlier, and he gave, and he really told us how far Tijan has took the St. Augustine's team, and in the days at Abuko School, from Abuko to Farafenye, and all of that. But you could also, as the coach, tell us just something about that time you had with Tijan.
Everything started from an odd-man camp when the Independence Stadium was under renovation. There was no Tijan at the Independence Stadium. Everything started at Serapina West, and we moved to St. Augustine High School football pitch. And then we also have been working tirelessly at the golf course, doing some uphill and downhill runs. We have also been working in the gym to make sure that at least Tijan becomes a world-class athlete. He was part of the project that I was embarked on, because when I started here in the University of Delaware, I was asked to put up a project where I would be able to at least produce nothing less than 10 athletes to qualify for the Rio Olympic Games 2016. In that team was Tijan Keita, Gina Bass, Abdullah Faye, something like Kone, Kasim Kone, now the teacher at Houston Senior Secondary School. At least I have a couple of female athletes who was also there, like Zainabu Adikujabi. I was tasked to produce at least nothing less than 10 athletes that will qualify to the Rio Olympic Games. Unfortunately for Tijan, he was sidelined not because of the talent that he had, but because the sports was not, the support was not out there for him. So Gina Bass was the lucky one, as the only female athlete who rise through the ranks to be an international athlete, and she has always been making us proud. I still have no doubt that if chance and opportunities are given to Tijan, he would bounce back to be one of the best 400-meter athlete runner in the Gambia. And when Tijan was breaking the record in the 400-meter, we have not been using a track and field, but on marked field. And then he became the first Gambian cadet champion in the 400-meter in Wari, Nigeria. So when he came back, we tried to see how possible we could see Jammeh in those days to help him at least with a scholarship where he would pursue, because then we don't have a proper track and field. So I thought it was necessary to give him a scholarship, at least to be out of the country, and then to be one of the finest athletes Gambia have ever produced when it comes to the sustained 400-meter, which is definitely one of his favorite events. At St. Augustine, he was our key player. I always use him strategically in the under 18 category, because I have always wanted him to be rising from one level to another. So Tijan would be representing me in the 400 meters under 18, but still coming up to be part of my combined event in the 400, 4x400 senior category. So I remember that year we was able to win all the relays, which is a total number of 8 relays. For St. Augustine was crowned as a champion. He would go a long way in the history of St. Augustine. He would equally go a long way in the history of Gambian athletics, particularly when it comes to track and field. Today I am so emotional because it was never easy for him, but I am super proud. He simply tells me a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And not only the dust can give you gold, but with hard work, resilience, and commitment, you can always reach the top. So I wish him the very best of luck in his endeavors, and I thank you all for giving him the opportunity, because it's never easy. Particularly his sponsors, I don't want to go further like Comeo, because they come to work. Yeah. So I am very, 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 very proud today, and I'm very proud of all of you in that hall. And I wish you all the very best of luck in your endeavors. And I thank you all.
Thank you.